What's going on, everyone? I hope you had a fantastic weekend. We are set for another exciting week in the markets, and we're also set for a short week because of Thanksgiving. So in this video, we're going to talk about some great setups for tomorrow, some very important news with some very powerful companies in the market right now, and of course, we're going to run through the earnings schedule and the other important events for the week. But Tom, with that being said, let's jump right into it.
Yeah, Mike, the overall market last week was pretty good, I'd say. I mean, I'll say this, it was very choppy, but if we go from Monday through Friday, it was a pretty good week, having a nice run up, and there's a double top going on SPY, right around 451.50 to 452. You can see there's been a multiple hits up here, and it's been really failing to break out, and we've been very choppy ever since we got into here, Mike, but heading into this week, it's going to be a bit of a short week, so be prepared for that, guys. There is some holidays on the radar. We're obviously having Thanksgiving Day, Thursday, November 23rd, so the market will be closed then. And then on Friday, each market will close early at 1 p.m. and 1:15 p.m. for eligible options. So keep that in mind. Friday, it will close early at 1 p.m. and there will be no trading on Thursday, November 23rd. We wanted to get that out of the way so everybody was prepared for that this week, because sometimes that can maybe change the volume and the volatility that comes into the market.
You know it. And speaking of volatility, we have to talk about what's happening with Microsoft stock right now. This thing has been on an insane run all the way up to new all-time highs, but right before close on Friday, this thing started tanking, and for good reason. As we all know, Microsoft is big into artificial intelligence, and they have invested like $13 billion into OpenAI, which owns ChatGPT. Their $13 billion investment basically had OpenAI have a valuation of $86 billion now, but that can be at major risk as Sam Altman, one of the leaders at OpenAI, basically just got fired, and no one at Microsoft had any idea about this. So the board at OpenAI fired Sam Altman. Sam Altman is pissed about this, and now he might start his own brand new AI company, and Microsoft is like, guys, like, what are you doing? Like, our investment in OpenAI is like, you know, has some serious risk here, right? So everyone's kind of freaking out about this. Microsoft shareholders were dumping their shares pretty heavily right before it closed. There was a ton of volume that came in as well. And it's a big risk to Microsoft given how influential their investment in OpenAI has been and how important it will be in the future. The best way I can compare this in a nice and easy way is if the Tesla board of directors just fired Elon Musk, and then Elon Musk basically said, hey, I'm just going to start my own brand new EV company. That's the type of situation here.
Exactly, Mike. And whenever I heard this about Altman getting fired, I was like, man, that's a bad thing for everybody who invested. And one cool thing that I saw in the article is Microsoft's trying to get him back. Same thing with Tiger Global and Thrive Capital are among several of OpenAI's backers that are trying to reinstate Altman. So he might actually be coming back. Altman has had a lot of problems in his personal life, to say the least. So, but looking at the situation for Microsoft, it's not looking good, Mike. So I hope that they end up getting him back. And as we know, Microsoft is very, very influential, especially given their investments in this company and their ownership overall. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this situation. But that was the big news that hit the market around close Friday, and everybody was talking about it in Discord.
Exactly. And another thing worth noting, Tom, is that Microsoft has been the leading company in the market over like the past 2 weeks. And I just checked again, it is now at the heaviest weighted S&P 500 stock. And if you have a company as powerful as Microsoft falling this much this quickly with some real news behind it, that has potential to like shift the whole market sentiment, because, you know, Microsoft has been, I don't want to say carrying the market, but it has done a lot of good for the market over the past 2 weeks. And the same way it did a lot of good, it could also do a lot of bad if investors continue selling the stock at this pace.
Exactly. And, look, going to the SPY from last week, it has that big double top up there, and we're starting to have a lot of resistance being hit, and it's failing to break out. So I'm curious heading into next week if maybe, starting tonight with futures and then heading into pre-market, if we'll start to see the SPY and that overall market drop down. And if we do, I'm watching these big supports around like 449.50 and 450 on SPY. If we could get under that low from Friday, that would be pretty awesome for the bears. Everybody's looking for those low and high of day breaks, but man, it seems like the market's just getting too high, Mike. I know you mentioned Microsoft being too overextended, and this is finally probably going to be that news that, like you said, might shift the market a little bit. And I think Microsoft could probably come down and retest 350 over the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. So it should be an interesting ride this week, and we also have some more earnings. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, earnings week is actually a pretty big one here. Everybody is going to be watching for NVIDIA on Tuesday in after hours. So right before the holidays, we're going to have good old NVIDIA reporting. The big powerhouse in the stock market right now. They have, I know they're not as big as Microsoft right now, Mike, but if we go to an NVIDIA chart, they are up around all-time highs, right around $500. So they need to have a good report. If they do, they'll probably break 500 with some really good momentum, but they have to have a pretty good one, Mike, especially in this type of condition. So with how overbought they are, everybody's going to be watching them. And then, of course, we have Zoom on Monday and after hours, and a couple other smaller players like Lowe's, Kohl's, and Best Buy, which are pretty big stocks, but then again, they're just not as popular as NVIDIA.
Yep, so NVIDIA is going to be the stock that everyone is watching for the week. Tuesday after close, be ready. But this is the best way to summarize this week's earnings with basically 0 words. NVIDIA is the clear star of the show.
Yeah, 100%. I love that Earnings Whispers put this out, Mike. They have some pretty funny stuff, guys. Go check out their Twitter. Shout out to them for always putting out those awesome earnings charts, too.
There we go. And then we also have a couple important events for the economic data side of things for the week. On Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we have the FOMC minutes, which is basically like a recap of Jerome Powell's latest interest rate decision. And you could see in depth like what all of the key players at the Fed are like actually thinking behind the scenes. So be prepared for that. That will bring in some extra volatility. And then on Wednesday, basically an hour before market open, we have jobless claims data, and then we have the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. But those are definitely the 3 most important events for the week.
Yeah, I'm actually glad that there's nothing too crazy, but the FOMC minutes will be pretty big. I'm sure the market will be watching that very, very closely. And of course, anything the Feds say or do is very influential. And we've been seeing lately that they're going more towards rate cuts, or at least pausing in the short term, if not rate cuts. So at least the hike is off the table for now. I'm glad to see that.
All right, well, with that being said, let's get into the fun stuff for today, which are some setups and predictions. So one stock I'm watching pretty closely is Microsoft, and it is to the downside. So the selling pressure we saw from right before it closed was pretty nasty. Tons of volume came in, and the stock even drifted lower in after hours on Friday. This is not even accounting for the fact of how overbought Microsoft is anyways. So I will be watching this one to the downside. Basically, if we continue to see this type of price action, I think it has a lot more room down. However, if we open up tomorrow and Microsoft is gapping up, then clearly I'm not going to try and short it. But there is real potential for more sellers to come in and just drag this one lower, and I'm watching it very closely.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned that, Mike, about it possibly coming up, because who knows, maybe news could come out that the board will say, we messed up, we're going to reinstate Altman or something. Maybe Microsoft got really mad at him, of course, or something. But we'll have to see what happens. It's going to be a fun one down, though. I hope it keeps trending down, Mike, because I think there'll be a lot of fun options and opportunities. With my next one, I'm going with Palantir to the upside. This stock actually ran up in after hours Friday, and it's starting to break $20, making new highs of the year. So I wanted to mention this one. It's starting to break out pretty well, and I think there could be a multi-day continuation on it. So watch Palantir. It's a very popular stock, and I'm sure it's going to be on a lot of radars come Monday.
You can never complain when Palantir's making a new yearly high, right? That site never gets old.
I know, right? And I know so many people that watch us have been investing into Palantir over the past 6 months to the past year, and it's been very, very low. So congrats to you guys who, were buying this up around $7 to $10. I know there's quite a few of you out there. Let me know in the comments how you're doing.
Let's go. All right, another stock I'm watching pretty closely is SLV, and it is to the upside. So SLV, I think, has a lot of great potential going forward, but I'll also say this one will move slower than most other stocks out there because it follows silver, and, silver prices don't really move like some crazy tech stocks, right? So I think it's at a pretty solid level right now, and I think, like, over the next couple months and, like, even the next couple years, there's going to be a lot of potential, but I think there's even potential for the short term as well. When this one trends, it normally trends for like multiple weeks at a time, just like gold and GLD. And we're starting to see a little bit of that type of price action. This, is also accounting for the fact that we had a big money play on this one just, like a month ago as well. So overall, it's a stock I'm watching pretty closely to the upside.
Yeah, I like it. It's breaking that recent resistance, like right around 2164 to 2170, and it did fall a little bit Friday, but I think there's a lot of potential still to the upside here. I'm with you, Mike, and I like that big money play, so I'll keep it on the radar too. And if the market sees some fear, and we do see Microsoft fall this week, and that double top holds up on SPY, I think we'll start to see QQQ obviously fall down pretty good as well. So I'm going to be watching SQQQ calls this week, especially Monday and Tuesday with how Microsoft was moving towards close. Now, I'm not saying that the overall market's going to tank just because of Microsoft, but if it starts to, if that snowball effect starts happening with some selling pressure, I think it'll make for a great opportunity with SQQQ as well as puts on the overall market. So keep your eyes on this one. It's always a fun one whenever the market starts falling.
Sounds great. All right, well, with that being said, let's get right into today's momentum plays. And with the first one, we have ExxonMobil to the upside.
Exxon, yeah, great day for the oil stocks Friday. If they end up breaking above 105.50, go ahead and look at calls.
All right, and then with the next one, we have NVIDIA to the downside.
Yeah, that was a pretty wild move Friday, too. Now, with this one, they're sitting right around support, but you can see it's pretty volatile here. Make it break below 490. That's like the low of day Friday.
All right, and then with the last one, we have Apple, but for both directions.
AAPL, yeah, this one's a pretty crazy one, too. It's been kind of propping up the market with Microsoft lately. If they break out above 190.20, then go ahead and look at those calls. But if they fall under 188.80, then look at puts.
All right, so we have the downside level for puts, and we have the upside level for calls, and this is for Apple. Don't forget about NVIDIA with its downside level for puts, and then don't forget about ExxonMobil with its upside level for calls. These are only plays if they break the levels Tom listed. But with that being said, Tom, let's get into the very exciting big money trade of the day, and we are looking at ticker symbol MSOS. So this ETF basically follows weed stocks, and on Friday we saw a big money trader dump around like we'll call it like $550,000 into MSOS in a bullish way. Basically, they're betting on the stock going up, but in a more advanced way. They bought the 8-strike calls and they shorted the 12-strike calls, both of which expire on January 19th of 2024. They want MSOS to go up, and if it does, they'll make a bunch of money from it. Looking at this right now, given that we have elections creeping up, of course there will be a lot of talk about the marijuana industry and all that good stuff. And anytime there's hype or new regulatory developments, these stocks have moved a ton in the past. But these stocks are kind of like an all or nothing type event. It's like when they run quicker than almost anything else you will find out there. But when they don't run, they do horribly. So, like, with these types of stocks, it's either going to be like boom or it's going to be complete bust. And, it really depends on that news and the hype and the volume and, things like that.
What I really like to say with these marijuana stocks, Mike, is they're either going to win or you're going to lose everything, essentially. If you're investing for the long term, that's kind of how I feel about them. Just given their volatility and how they moved in the past, I've been buying up some Tilray down here around the bottom. I've been getting some PLNH, which is Planet 13 as well. I'm loving the way that these stocks are starting to move. PLNH is moving actually just like MSOS. So I'm really liking these stocks, the way they're starting to run up lately. And I think buying the dips down here on these MJ stocks will be nice because, as we know, there's a lot of these bills trying to get through Congress. Now, Congress has their own problems to deal with first. So, of course, marijuana's on the back burner. But with this big money, maybe they foresee something going on. Maybe they, know something about the bill or something. We have no idea, but you would think that they would, do this in a pretty smart way. And it's quite a bit of money into just such a wild sector, which has the ability to really pop off.
Exactly. So either way, keep a close eye on this one going forward. It's like a bunch of wheat stocks all in one. Ticker symbol MSOS, and it all depends on the news and hype. But keep a close eye on that one. Tom, we are set for a pretty exciting week. It's going to be a shorter week because of the holiday, but we have the market at a crucial pivot point right now. We're seeing some of the most powerful stocks in the market start to slow down a little bit. We have some exciting earnings. We have the FOMC minutes. So I would say with everything, it should be a pretty exciting week, and there should be a good amount of opportunities. The market's been chopping around for, we'll say 3 days now, and normally we don't see, a chop fest any longer than that.
I know, right? And Friday is going to be pretty interesting too. Like the market's open, but only till 1 p.m. Eastern, 1:15 p.m. Eastern for some options. Like imagine that. Don't get too wild on Thursday night, guys, because there's going to be trading on Friday. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Enjoy your holiday. But yeah, it's going to be a fun week, Mike. I'm loving the price action on Microsoft, and I think that might hold up the double top on SPY. And if that happens, we're going to have some great opportunities across the whole market and Microsoft alone. So let's go. There's some good opportunities out here this week. And I love the channel right now because once we break this, we're going to get some good movement.
You know it. And if you guys are not already in the Stocked Up trading floor, check out that first link in the description in the comments down below. Basically, I want to first give a shout out to our member of the day, Jeremy Langton, who just crushed it last week. And looks like he grew his account by 169% and made around $9,000. So awesome job. Just, keep that risk management in place and keep rolling. But that is a pretty phenomenal week.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like Mike said, though, keep that risk management in place. But what a week. I mean, that's an awesome gain on your account. So congrats to you, Jeremy. And yeah, keep up that great work. It's always fun to see, accounts growing like that.
You know it. But yeah, guys, with our Stocked Up trading floor, basically you get access to everything you could possibly need from short-term trading, whether it is custom screeners, whether it is alerts from a bunch of our bots, whether it is multi-million-dollar trade trackers, whether it is swing plays, theta trades, long-term stocks, and everything you could possibly need, we have in the Stocked Up trading floor. This includes all of our new bots like SurgeBot, SniperBot, HybridBot, Stocked Up Bot, everything, SM Bot. We have it all, and I definitely recommend joining if you're looking for some great opportunities. In addition to that, you also get to chat with Tom and myself all day long. We do live events every single week, and we even have a coupon running for the yearly program right now. Use code TURKEY and you'll save a ton. We very, very rarely do sales, so if you've been on the fence and you've been wanting to join, now's the time. But yeah, Tom, we have a lot of opportunities in front of us, and I think we're gonna have a great week.
Yeah, we are. And don't forget, guys, the FOMC minutes on Tuesday. Big earnings this week. NVIDIA on Tuesday as well. It seems like Tuesday is going to be the key day to be here this week. But, of course, Monday is going to be wild for Microsoft. So let's go, Mike. I hope that Microsoft doesn't tank too much. But at the same time, I'm kind of hoping it does because, it's like it makes for those fun options trades.
Let's get it. All right, well, guys, thank you so much for watching. And let's have an amazing week in the market.